What's up, guys? It's Kyra here with another Awaken Chaos Era video. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. Me personally, I had a great Saturday. Today was a good day. Work slowed down at the perfect time. Got to watch the Lakers game. LeBron popped off. It was actually pretty sick. It was exciting fourth quarter there. Then UFC fight was actually pretty dope. Like the last fights, most of the time were pretty dominant looking back on them, but there was a few moments in there where it kept it exciting. So overall, really good day. First day of my weekend, so finally going to be able to actually test some of these characters that got buffed in the new patch. The one I've actually been using so far is Tia, and I think she's actually pretty awesome. So I wanted to go over where I think she's going to be good. I think Arena. So we're going to have gameplay examples here in Arena, and we're also going to have gameplay examples in Void Tower. Because the new change that she did, if you guys are not familiar with, so before she would be able to freeze people, and Frozen is one of the best debuffs in the entire game, in my opinion, especially for control and damage. And mainly you want to be using this as a damage buff because targets unable to act and takes 50% more damage from all sources. Attacks on the target have a 50% chance to remove this effect. So it's a little different than someone like Luna Melisa, in my opinion, because her whole focus is to actually CC and control the enemy, because this is a taunt. You don't get any bonus damage from this. All you're doing is just making it to where they can't use their special and they can't use their ultimate. They can only auto attack her. So I feel like Tia, you kind of want to look at her a little differently. I think she's probably going to excel in arena offense, but I think they're very similar characters, Luna Melisa and Tia here. I would want to say you're going to bring Tia in a little different situations where you want to actually nuke them. Whereas when it comes to Luna Melisa, I think she's going to be in situations where you probably want a little bit more control. But as I'm saying this, I think both of these characters, you can kind of play around and go for long games with them and go for kind of the short nuking route with each of these. Tia here, first of all, she has some of the best base stats I've ever seen in a character in S tier attack and then A tier health and defense. So she's going to be either tanky or we can make her actually a pretty good damage dealer. One thing when it comes to being a damage dealer, it's going to be kind of hard it might be a little tough to get her at 100% crit rate, but that'll be fine. If you get good enough gear, you'll be able to do that. The cool thing about her is that she's versatile in that sense that you can actually build her tanky. Or this other debuff she applies in Frostbite, the minus 10% speed and at 5 seconds applies Frozen, I think is actually really powerful if you're going to be knowing going into the fight that it's going to be a grinder match. And that's more going to be geared towards later Void Tower, where you could potentially have some grinder matches where you won't be able to nuke them in one round. You can loop back around and get this control going later on and kind of build towards either making them slower or knowing at 5 stacks, you'll be able to actually freeze them and potentially either save a turn and control them for that turn or be able to actually nuke them because you're going to be able to do 50% more damage there. A lot of versatility when it comes to her, but the way I'm looking at her, the main way, a lot of these defensive teams in Arena are very tough to actually finish, especially with the change to not allowing us to cast both of our summoner spells in one round. You have to either choose one or you have to wait an entire round to then cast the other. So the popular one was the defense down one, the AoE defense down. Then you would use the attack up. Also, the attack up one just got nerfed randomly because I believe it was a 50% boost. Now it's only a 30% boost. So very strange that they nerfed these summoner spells here, because I don't think anyone was thinking that these are overpowered, in my opinion, let alone being able to use 2 in a round was overpowered. If anything, we have a difficulty in killing the very tanky characters that we face on arena defense. In teams like this, you're going to be facing a ton of Hackrins, you're going to be facing a ton of Brands and Mathasias, rarely, just because it's such an uncommon character to pull in Corrupt Orak, but those are going to be some of the hardest ones. Also, Blackhorn is a really popular one. I would say probably this combo here, Blackhorn, Hackrin, and Brand are probably the big 3 in characters you're going to face, and then people will throw in a Mathasia, a Corrupt Orak, maybe another damage dealer in there. So getting these characters out of the match is tough. Doing more damage is going to be my goal. Controlling them is nice. It's a nice bonus, but mainly being able to do more damage is going to be the thing I look towards, trying to win these matches on arena offense. So being able to, it's kind of a different way of looking. Normally I was thinking, how can I boost my damage up? How can I give my characters more damage to be able to nuke these characters and get them out of there? But Tia is a nice change of pace where she has a way of increasing our damage through a debuff. But the big problem with her was that it wasn't consistent. I could not rely on this at all. But then when they finally changed it to where at least the main target can be frozen guaranteed with their ultimate. And it's only on a 4-turn cooldown, so that's nice, and once it's booked. But the big change that I think massively changes the character, that makes her go from a character that I didn't really want to use, I thought of her as kind of a bad version of Luna Melisa to a character that in certain situations, if I really want to be able to do more damage, I can rely on this and knock that character out consistently. Or worst case scenario, I'll just be able to CC them if they go faster and then they lose a turn if I happen to want to choose that character. Also, her typing's great because she's going to cover the widespread of positive affinity towards Brand and equal affinity towards Blackhorn and Hakron. Those are the big three when it comes to arena offense, let alone just being a good character. So in a Void Tower scenario, you can use her and really lean on her as going to be your main initiator for Void Tower. But this is going to be, later on. If you're not really there in the game, you can still use TM well, but this is going to be more geared towards those two game modes, in my opinion. And then another thing, in this Void Tower specifically, when you get to the hard Void Tower, so first of all, in the common or in the easy Void Tower and in the hard version of Void Tower, they both have this debuff going on where at the beginning of each round, the enemy gains 1 stack of blessing of the 7 gods, max 7 stacks. So once they get 7 stacks, every attack that they do, they have a chance to stun you. So you want to get them out there ASAP. But on the hard version of Void Tower, they also have this effect. Enemies' defense is increased by 50%. If the enemy is under control, this rune mark is invalid for the duration of the control effect. So that's going to be another benefit in being able to get these guys out of here because they're way tankier, 50% more defense, unless you can control them. So you need to put some kind of CC on them. There's other characters that are more reliable at the CC, but this is going to be a way to really swing it. It goes from a 50% defense, or if you have them frozen, not only are they going to lose that increased 50% defense, but then they're going to take 50% more damage. So you're going to actually be able to nuke these guys because you got to get them out of here pretty quick, especially on this Void Tower here. So I think that's enough setup here. Now let's actually get into the matchups and I'll kind of show you exactly what I was thinking team comp wise on what I'm going to be bringing for arena offense and also Void Tower. So this is the kind of team comp I was thinking for arena here, where mainly it's just going to be your booster. So I got Windrex here in just the fastest speed gear I got. And then I put her, literally all I did for this is I just searched all of my speed gear and then just searched by focus and then put my highest focus gear that wasn't my speed gear on Windrex on her. This could be max here, make her faster, but so she's 242 right now. Definitely could be a lot faster. But mainly the concept, it doesn't matter what numbers I have. The concept is I just have as high focus as possible. I like to get in that 70 range for focus. Kind of like you treat it like a boss, like 50 to 70% focus. Eventually, if you really want to beat the harder teams, you're probably going to really need to push this focus as high as possible, the speed as high as possible, at least for like I'm trying to do here. Then nuke wise, I'm going to go Euron and Nathalia here. I'm thinking the benefit of having the character that's giving us more damage potential or being able to do more damage, I'm going to have a faster set here. So normally I don't have this 78%, but I just want to do more damage because I'm going to go faster. I have a higher damage potential here, but 22% of the time I'm not going to crit, which is bad. I could go here. And so I'm going to lose that, but I'm going to get 97% crit. I think for arena, I'm going to do that. I'm going to change that, go back to this set here. So a little less damage, still fast at 172. I should say fast for my damage dealer here. Cursed set, Nathalia. Then I'm going to go Euron here, as this is the set we got here, 100% crit. Not as fast, though, on there to be able to clean up. To hit hard. If I face a Corrupt Aurak, I'm going to replace the Nathalia and then end up putting in Mary because Mary's passive can cleanse the buff or cleanse the debuff if the Rebel set actually procs. And then also, I really like her A2 for arena. Surprisingly good. She's a surprisingly good arena offense character. So it grants a bonus turn to a team member at the end of the round as well as damage up and immune for 2 turns. Also another character kind of similar now is the buff in Yolanda for that role there. Even though the cleanse is only on her basics, you'd need to make her go fast. Not nearly as good unless you're going for a longer thing, but main point here, bonus attack at the end of the round, immune and attack up 2 versus damage up. And I feel like damage up would be better in this kind of burst scenario, but whatever. Okay, so now let's actually get into a couple matches here to kind of show what I was talking about. We have Tia, Nathalia, and we just replace this with Euron. So mainly the concept applies with this, regardless of what heroes you have. Mainly, you can't really replace Windrex. You can do Brand if they're going to be a slower team. You can do Brand instead. That's going to be a good buffer. Mary's not really in this slot, in that buffer slot. She's more of a supportive role. In the damaging slot, you can have Hydri, Evra, Valeria. Tia, obviously the whole point of this is Tia, but Luna Melisa is another character you can throw in here for that kind of CC character here. But the main point about Tia is having that extra damage buff, which I really like. So here we go. We're going to be immediately going here. And so since Tia has all the focus, I'm just going to save the debuff for her. And then we're going to go defense down first. And then you wouldn't want to do this against the Celestial Cane, by the way, because then he's just going to cleanse it. So you got to be careful on who you're doing this for. And then because we're just going to nuke Nathalia anyway. So let's go here and put it on Brand because we want the extra damage. You could even go Hakron too if you wanted to. But notice how we got lucky. We won 2 coin flips here. So we got the guarantee on the back for Brand, but we got the 2 coin flips here. And a lot of people have fast Brands. So you might want to do it on Brand anyway, because if you don't, then he's just going to ult and then potentially cleanse. He's going to cleanse 1 buff off everyone. So it might be the defense down. It might be the frozen. So just keep that in mind. And then now we're going to get nuke. And it should be a 1-shot. For most. And pretty tanky. So doesn't matter. We have our second nuker here. And they're dead. So that's going to be the concept here that I'm going for with it. I really like that it's consistent. Just knowing that I can, at least having the peace of mind that I can pick one character, because they might have a fast character. So you have the fast Windstreaks. Ideally, you have the faster Windstreaks, and then you're going to pick their fastest to get them out, because usually their fastest is not their damage dealer. They're not the priority to kill. The ones you want to kill are going to be these other offensive characters. So those are going to be the ones that, you might win the coin flip, you might hit it, you might not, but you at least disrupted them. So here we go again. We'll do a couple battles here, and then we'll go to Void Tower. So here it is. We have none of them are fast enough that even our slowest hero, with the boost, still fine. Here we go. We're going to do this again, and then I'm thinking we're going to hit Brand again as well, just to kind of show it. Let's see if anyone else got... Okay, so 2 of the tankiest people got hit, so that's fine. I like that. And we got the Cursed Set proc, and they're pretty much dead, but we'll have Euron finish them up. And I hope everyone's understanding that it's not about like the gear. The gear matters and all that stuff, but apply this to your situation. Just take these concepts. Don't take like, okay, you need to have these numbers for this. You don't need to have crazy numbers for this. And I feel like there's a lot of people that have way better gear than me. So it's not about that. It's about just applying concepts and then using those to actually level up. And then as you farm more gear, eventually you'll be able to actually do this. But that's just going to take a lot of farming. Okay, we'll actually just go here first. Because I don't have focus on her, so that's why I'm not doing that. I have a ton of focus on just Tia. So we're going to do this. And then I'm going to do this again, especially because we have type disadvantage against Mathasia anyway. But we should be able to just knock him out regardless. We got lucky, hit the 3-peat. And then go this. And then notice how they're still frozen because there's another coin flip associated with that too, where you might not knock them out of the frozen. So it just makes it significantly more reliable and be able to actually do enough damage to knock these guys out. Because some people just have insane gear, insane tanky gear. And it's so hard to kill them, even with 2 nukers like that. So it's just nice to have. So I think that kind of shows the point there. I think she's actually really good. We're noticing now you can really rely on her frozen. And then the 50%, when you spread it out around a couple of people, kind of likely you can hit at least someone else. So I'm a big fan of her. I think she's really good for arena offense now. So now let's get into Void Tower. Camera overheated, so that's why the webcam's off. In this situation for Void Tower, I'm going to be using a fast Brand instead of Windstreaks, so I don't need to waste my buffs on the couple waves to make sure Nathalia actually gets her passive to proc. So the main thing about this is going to be using Tia in the end. The cool thing about Void Tower is I feel like with Tia builds is you could do a lot of different versions of her build. We could either go for a fast one with high focus and, well, every single build of hers is going to require high focus, but we could focus on maybe more damage. We could focus on maybe a Cursed set to be proccing her passives more. We could go with a Rebel set. There's so many different options we have with Tia here, especially in this game mode. Whereas I feel like in arena offense, probably going to be just like the last team. Like there's other options too, but I feel like Void Tower kind of opens things up more because the battles could be so much longer. Depending on the buffs and debuffs that are actually going on in the current tower. going to auto attack here and save the ultimate for the final wave. And then this, we're just going to be saving the ultimate because we're already going to get the proc up anyway with Nathalia. And so now she got this. And so not going to kill them all, but at least we'll be able to get them out of here. Okay, well, it killed them all. Okay, and then now we can do this. So there's a lot of green people here, but it doesn't really matter too much. We just get to pick who we want to actually CC. I'm thinking we CC the Yolanda. We'll go defense down and then buff up. And now we got lucky and hit a couple coin flips, but just having that guaranteed is so nice. And then now we can do this and this. So we got lucky with the, but like look at the difference in damage though between the extra 50% and the ones that didn't have it. So a Savannah was able to live, whereas the other ones didn't, because that 50% extra damage definitely got them killed. And then now we can start stacking up this if we wanted to. So we have 3 stacks of that. If this is a longer fight, then we'll be able to actually, we at least have something in the back knowing that we're going to eventually CC them, which I think is nice. And then she's dead if we don't get a weak hit. Okay. And pretty much dead anyway. So there we go. And game over. So let's do one more just to kind of show this again. But you can take this into, this concept still applies even if they have a whole bunch of green people. Anyway, so here, this would be a good test of it because they're all green. We have a lot of blue, but the debuffs are still going to apply even with deflections. So we're fine. Okay, and then now we're actually able to do this. So defense down first. And then who are we going to pick? I'm thinking we pick... I'm debating between Nicholas and Ganglio. I think I'm just going to stop Ganglio. Let's just stop him. Oh, it actually resisted. You can actually get a resist in here. I have like 80% focus. That's wild. That's good to know. I wonder if it's like raid where there's always a percentage chance. Like I don't believe that's known knowledge yet on if it's actually guaranteed. I'm not going to do the damage boost here. I'm going to save it for Euron because we're probably going to weak hit. But I wonder if I really hope that's not the case. I hope it's just a flat, just like, okay, always works if you have enough. Because that RNG aspect in raid is so obnoxious. Okay, and then now we can start stacking this up. And then taunt, pretty much GG at this point. And the nice thing about Euron, let's see what takes. I was hoping he would take it then hit him, but it's the other way around. He hits him and then takes it at the end. So we can't bypass things like that. But that's kind of a fun little test. Well, I think that shows enough. That's going to be the end of the video. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you want me to test. If there's any other build options you have for Tia that you think is actually pretty good. And with that, guys, I am out. Peace.